What's up? This is Ray with Get Real Ray, a place and space for life and business tips from this creative soul to hopefully inspire you on your journey or at the very least provide you with some laughs. And so let's get real. Let's get real about how much I use my phone. Okay, so recently I've been reading this article on Ingo with Cambly students. And the article is about how short form videos on TikTok rewire the brain. Basically, it stimulates addictive behavior. And so young people watching these short form videos become addicted to watching short form videos. Now I say young people, anybody watching. I don't think the age really matters. Now, I had a student bring this article to me. I've shared it with some other students. And I had one person say, well, life would be boring. So no, life would not be better without TikTok. It would be boring. Okay. I've also had people say, well, yeah, I'm addicted to my phone. I'm like on my social media 6 hours a day. And I'm like, 6 hours a day? How do you find the time? There's only 24 hours a day. Assuming you're getting 8 hours of sleep and doing 8 hours of work, that's 16 hours unaccounted for. And so that leaves you with 10 hours to do things like go to the bathroom, eat, commute to work if you have to commute, all those things. So I guess, yeah, they have the time. All right, I just did the math. Okay, so anyway, 6 hours a day still seems like a lot. Now, I deleted all of my social media from, I just deleted all my social media. Like, what does it matter if it's from my phone? I just deleted it. And I don't miss it. I primarily used it for work. In the earlier days, a few years ago, I would be on social media, communicating with other artists in different online groups, but I was like, these people just complain about the same stuff all the time, so what's the point? So I just stopped hanging out in those groups, just stopped using those accounts, and finally just ultimately deleted everything. I'm like, I'm not keeping up with these accounts. From a business standpoint, usually if I had someone like an assistant working for me, or when I had an office manager, I'd have them deal with posting things on the accounts because I'm just like, I don't have the time. I need to use my brain power for other like income generating things. And there have been so many different business experts talking about how I can take your studio to $1 million business if you just follows my Facebook ads system. What? No, just no. Everything has changed since you started Facebook ads like 5-10 years ago. I'm not going to give you $3,000 a month so you can show me some outdated system. So I didn't feel the need to keep those accounts, deleted them. I think you got the point. And I've deleted YouTube from my phone a couple of times, but then I would find myself having to verify my identity when signing into my email account from a computer that wasn't my regular computer. And so it sends a little alert to YouTube, and now I gotta download the stupid YouTube app. So I just left it on my phone again. And I was also uploading shorts for my YouTube channels from my phone. And lo and behold, I found myself using YouTube more and more. Now, to be fair, I watched more YouTube than I care to admit from my laptop this past week. And I've usually like having something playing in the background. Often it will just be podcasts, which is why I'm using my phone. But sometimes I'll go to YouTube, have stuff playing in the background while I'm working, and I'm like, a song, I'm not singing along to it. Anyway, yeah, I decided after having all these conversations about this TikTok article, and I don't do TikTok. I tried it once. I was like, no, my eyeballs hurt. Like, no. I decided, okay, I wonder how much I use my phone. So I went into settings, screen time, and I didn't even know like this whole world, all this data, statistics existed. I was like, whoa, I use my phone way more than I realize. This thing is clocking at like 7, almost 8 hours a day using my phone. I'm like, what am I doing on my phone? I don't have any social media on my phone. What am I doing? And I'm like, okay, what are my most used apps? Messenger. Okay, well, I text my mom, but I ain't texting my mom 8 hours a day. I get texts from clients, but business isn't busy right now, so there's not that many texts. email app. Okay, I do check my email a lot, like a lot more than I really need to or should. So that I could definitely cut back on. And Duolingo, which I love Duolingo. If you are not using Duolingo to learn a language, and they're not sponsoring me, by the way, but I highly recommend it. I'm on there learning French and Japanese. I've also explored a few other languages, Scottish Gaelic being one of them. And I am not saying that it's the best at all languages, but it's free and it's pretty good. You can go online and find other apps or videos or something to kind of round out your education. So Duolingo is a very core part of my French education, and I do not want to miss a day. I do not miss a day on Duolingo. I've been focused on improving my French, perfecting my French, learning French for almost 2 years on Duolingo. 650 days so far. And I have had gaps with my Japanese study, with my piano study, but every day I'm on that app. It does incentivize you in terms of don't break your streak. So I will probably be on my deathbed making sure I get my Duolingo in. It's a problem, but I don't have to use it from my phone because I could actually use it from my laptop. You don't get the ads. I know some people are like, I just paid for it, Ray, because I can't stand ads. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm over here trying to save some money. And if you are on a computer or laptop using Duolingo, you don't get those ads. And so, yeah, when your hearts are done, they're done. But you can select to practice, in order to get a new heart. So, and I did like Duolingo. Just a little side note. I prefer Duolingo when you weren't forced to watch an ad in order to get a new heart. But I understand they got to make money because people like me are like, I don't want to pay for it. But they do say part of their model of the business model is to make education free and accessible to all. So whatever. Anyway, that takes up a portion of my phone usage time. However, I am not on Duolingo for an hour a day. I probably should be, but I'm not. Okay. Some days I'm like, whoo, if I get this 15 minutes in, that is a blessing. So what am I doing? Really, what am I doing? I listen to a lot of podcasts. And so that was also high on my phone. So if I wanted to go through all the apps in terms of how much I'm using them, it's like, okay, well, I did recently delete YouTube off my phone, so maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine that these numbers are high and it'll be lower once the system calculates me no longer being on YouTube on my phone. And then I said, you know what? What is this pickup? Pickups? What is this? Apparently, I pick up my phone 62 times a day. This is just too much. And so, I shut off my phone last night. I shut it off. I was like, I know I use my phone as an alarm, but I'm not going to. Maybe I need to get one of those old school alarms. And I wound up, I have a second phone for one of my other businesses. And I used to love that phone. I'm like, the phone is small. I love the small size. It's the perfect phone. I don't even want a new phone. This phone is perfect. It's like an iPhone 9, I think, or something. However, the phone is now slower. The phone plan attached to that is a very cheap phone plan. So it's not worth doing a lot of calls on or anything like that. It's like this little pay-as-you-go thing. And I don't really, for a while I was like, oh, look, now I have 2 cameras. I can have one set up in the car and then have the other one that I take around with me. I hope you don't hear this cat. This cat is driving me crazy. I'm so sorry. But anyhow, I don't even do that anymore. It's like, no, I need my main phone to be the phone that I film with in the car because the camera's so much better. Or I need my main phone to make phone calls. I need my main phone to check emails. was like, wait a minute, what is going on? So when I got a new iPhone, did it come with like extra addictive behavior? What is with me in this main phone? It's the camera is better than the other phone, but I've recorded video with the other phone for the longest time and had zero problems. So why am I suddenly needing to touch this phone all the time? I don't know. There's like no more apps to delete at this point. Okay, well, yes, there are. I got rid of all my banking apps on my phone as well. I do that from the laptop. So I wound up using my spare phone as an alarm clock, and I set it. But for a couple of years, I was able to wake up without an alarm clock. So why is it that I suddenly need to have my alarm clock? Turned it off last night. Set the spare phone as a backup alarm. I say backup alarm because I'm telling myself, I don't think I really need this alarm if I go to bed on time. And yes, there was lots of work I could have done last night, but I'm trying to think, like, did I do some writing? I did my little journal entry, and I wanted to finish the story, but I just didn't have any good ideas. So I quickly looked up online a little bit of information about finishing the story. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just find something to read. And I took my spare laptop, and I have a folder in my Google Drive that is scripts to be read. I found in some Reddit forum, someone had like 100 film scripts. And they're like, if anybody wants these, go ahead and download them. And there were tons of well-known award-winning movies. And I thought, I don't think I want to read 12 Years a Slave while I'm going to bed, but I will read A Quiet Place. And so that is what I did. It's 68-page film script. As an actor, I should make it a habit to read more scripts. And I sat down and I read through this. I'm going to pause this for a second. So what I did was, sorry, I had to talk with the cat. He just ate. He just went to the bathroom. What does he want from me? Okay. So I took my little laptop to bed and I said, you know what? I've been staying up way too late recently and been super tired the next day, yawning all over the place and then being embarrassed by my yawning. I'll do a little reading. I'll go to bed. And the script was so good. I enjoyed the movie A Quiet Place, but this script was not the final version, by the way. Maybe this is the script that got them the deal, and then they brought in another writer to make some edits. Because I was like, this didn't happen in the movie. Who is this character? Huh? But I was riveted. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was only 68 pages, which I thought, oh, this is kind of short. But I read through like 50 pages before I was like, no, you actually need to go to bed. And I didn't go to bed super late. So usually I'm supposed to go to bed by 9:30. I wake up at 5:30, sometimes 5, mostly 5, but whatever. Recently it's been like, oh, I'll wake up at 5:30. And I went to bed on time. I was tired. I was ready for bed, and I woke up this morning and I knew I needed to get up early, trying to train myself to get back on New York City time, because right now I'm on the West Coast. I'm going to be on the East Coast in a couple of days. And I wound up waking up at 4:30. I had the alarm set for 4:45. I woke up before the alarm, just like I used to do. Wow, interesting. Now, I didn't wake up in a state of anxiety, because sometimes that happens where I'm so focused on the fact that I need to wake up, I don't want to oversleep, that I barely sleep all night, and it's just, anxiety, and I wake up because I'm anxious. But that wasn't the case. I had a restful night. I was a little bit of a zombie when I got up, in the sense that I woke up, I let the dog in, I looked at the cat, pet the dog, tried using my foam roller on my legs. And it was a very slow hour. For about an hour, I just really didn't do much of anything. got online to do this call. The client didn't show up. So I waited another 15 minutes before I allowed myself to go back to sleep a little bit. I could have stayed up. I was like, I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm not being productive. So let me just go back to sleep. But I love knowing that when I woke up, I wasn't eager for my phone. I turned off the backup phone. My other phone, which is powered off, I didn't touch it. And usually, one of the first things I do in the morning is check my bank account and then check my emails. I was like, nah, everything will wait another hour or two. And I wound up not turning on this phone until, I'm trying to think why. Oh, I had to send a text message to somebody. So I waited until after 8 o'clock this time. So yeah, from 8, what time did I say I woke up? Okay, so I woke up at 4:30. It's after 9 now. So, and I didn't send that text message till 8:30. So like for 4 hours or whatever, I just didn't touch my phone. Didn't need to touch my phone. The only phone I touched was the backup phone to turn off alarm. Not to check any kind of emails or text messages. And on that phone, I'm not logged into my Apple ID on there. I didn't think about it, but yeah. So it was a really nice feeling. It was nice not feeling like I needed to be on my phone. It was nice saying to myself, wait a minute. There's really no reason for me to be touching a phone 62 times in one day. I can get so much done with my laptop. And I'm not jonesing for my laptop. I'm not jonesing to check all my messages 50 million times. On my laptop, I log into my bank account once a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times. Like if I have to transfer money, then I'll log in to do those transfers. And once a lot of this debt is paid off and my finances are a little more balanced, there won't be a need to log into my bank account once a day. But for now, that's where I am. Because the way my payments come in, it's kind of like, okay, it's not always, there's some payments that are consistent, and then there's some payments that feel random. They aren't like a subscription or anything like that. So it's like, oh, okay, great. I just got an extra $200. I was expecting that to come in. So now I'm going to go into this bank account and I'm going to transfer the money and then pay this bill kind of thing. So anyway, why am I sharing all this with you? Because I want to encourage you to take that step. Just try it. Just go into screen time and take a look at how many hours a day you are engaged with your phone. And then look at what are like your top 3 or top 5 most used apps. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Don't be one of these people like, yeah, I use TikTok a lot. I'm addicted to it, but life would be boring. Like, no, if you use TikTok a lot, are you okay with that? Is there something else you'd rather be doing with your time? Because I have a chart, actually. I'm going to reach for it, you guys. I have a chart where I have a whole list of things that I could be doing with my time to order to live the life that I want. And this bottom section, by the way, is my non-tech hour things I could be doing. And the first time I was on this island, I'm currently on an island right now, all the things that I want to be doing with my time were checked off. I say all of them, but most of them. There were days where I pretty much did everything that I said that I wanted to do with my time. It was just done. There wasn't a question about it. And since I've been back on this island, the boxes, there's a lot that I'm not doing. I'm like, oh, I say that I want to practice vocal technique and piano daily. Not doing that. I said that I wanted to practice listening to Japanese as well as reading Japanese and writing Japanese daily. Not doing that. Oh. There's a lot I'm not doing. Why is it? It's not like I don't have the time. And actually, my business right now is slower than it was when I was on the island last time. So I also did a little math. And I want you to try this too, friends. I want you to go into screen time, okay? Look at the apps that you are using most frequently. Ask yourself how you feel about that. I mean, if you are okay with it, if you don't be like, oh, well, that's just how it is. That's how it is with everybody. Like, no, take control of your life, boo. Take control. Do something about yourself. Fix yourself. So if you, like me, are a little disturbed by some of the things you see, right? Mind you, I didn't have any social media to blame. But if you are someone who's just like, there's these other things that I want to do, I never seem to have the time. Your phone is telling you right now, you have the time. So, I know that I'd like to be making more money. This is common especially for a business owner, right? It's my business. And so what I did was I just did some quick math. And I calculated the average amount I make per hour. Because the way my work works is that the amount I make an hour isn't always the same. But the average I make per hour. And half that, right? If I'm spending almost 8 hours a day on my phone, am I really going to be maximum productive 16 hours a day, like 8 hours of sleep? And let's say I work 8 hours a day. So am I going to be maximum productivity for 16 hours a day? No. So let's just say 4 hours. Get 4 hours, an extra 4 hours a day geared towards working, times the amount of money that I'm making an hour, the average. How much extra money would that be a day, a week, a month? I was like, I could have an extra $4,000 a month just by taking 4 hours from what would have been spent doing, I don't know what with my phone, playing hot potato, I guess, towards doing something that generates money. Isn't that an amazing thing? And so, if you are someone who either is not doing the things you said you want to do with your time, wants to make more money, or just has things on your bucket list that you would like to do, take a look at how much you're using your phone and see if the number of hours you use your phone can be redirected towards either doing something you said you want to do or generating more money, learning a new skill, spending time out in nature, spending time with your kids, your dog, your grandpa. Redirect that time and energy. I know it may feel like, oh, but I got to see what my friends are doing. One thing you could do, because before you had a cell phone, before you had a smartphone, you still engaged with friends. So how did you do that? Maybe you should call your friend up. Why not? Call them and you're like, great, that's using a phone. But call them and make plans to see each other in person. And turn your phone off when you go to see them, right? Set up a little Zoom meeting with your friend. Hey girl, missed you. Schedule it. Make it a priority. You don't need to be doing all these games on your phone. They're fun. Guess what? Those companies are not paying you to be entertained all the time. So if you are someone who's like, there shouldn't be billionaires, I want to be a billionaire, blah, 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 blah. Every time you choose to spend your precious lifetime goofing around on your phone, goofing around on social media, goofing around, goof, that's money out of your pocket into someone else's pocket. It amazes me how many people complain about, oh, these billionaires. What are you doing with your time? Are you a billionaire? Make yourself a billionaire. Redirect your time and your energy. So yeah, I use my phone to record this. And after I upload the video to my computer, where I'll do my editing, I'm going to shut it off because I don't need it much more today. I hope you found this helpful. Until next time, peace.